Okay, good morning. So today we're going to start with a little caption from Rabbi Dahan's weekly Parsha paper. This was in Parshat Naso, which one we just passed. He says like this: and the Kohen, the priest, shall write these curses in the book and erase them into the bitter waters. Yeah, this is the sota thing that they said, right? Says the Rikanti, Rav Menachem Shlita, on the commentary on Torah, he writes, understand from here how cherished is the love between a man and his wife, for the Torah commands that Hashem's name, should be erased in the water to establish peace between them, and one who brings peace between them is as though he builds a palace in the heavens. From the affirmative, one understands the negative, that one who incites strife between a husband and wife, or if they themselves quarrel, it is considered a terrible destruction and devastation. Right? He says, whoever makes peace between a husband and wife, or them themselves that make peace between themselves, is as if they built a palace in heaven. And ones who destroy peace, including themselves, meaning if they don't have peace with each other, yet they are doing what's called destruction and devastation. Says the Gemara in Sukkah tells a story when King David excavated the foundation for the altar. He dug so deep in the waters of the abyss, it burst forth, threatening to flood and drown the entire world. He went so deep that he hit this point where water comes out to the point of no end. David sought to inscribe the divine name onto a piece of pottery, shard, a broken piece of clay, and cast it into the waters so that it would descend and settle upon the abyss to seal it. Yeah, he says, let me write Hashem's name into this thing, throw it into the hole, so that it covered and water will not come out. Achitophel ruled that this was permissible, even though it involved erasing Hashem's name in the water, reasoning that it follows of a kal v'chomer. What did he say? If for the sake of making peace between husband and wife, through the ritual of bitter waters, the Torah permits erasing Hashem's name, then for the sake of preserving peace for the entire world, how much more so? Achitophel said, yeah, if we can erase the name of Hashem for the Shlom Bayit, for husband and wife, then for the peace of the whole world, for sure it should be, he said. On the surface, this story involves the destruction of the entire world, which is in order of magnitude greater than the mere peace between husband and wife. But if the sages drew a parallel between these matters, it must be that lack of peace between a husband and wife is considered truly devastating. You hear? Hence, they derive the kal v'chomer, if erasing Hashem's name is permitted to prevent the ruin of one couple, and the world depends on them, the world depends on all the couples, then all the more so it is allowed to avert the destruction of the entire world. So therefore it was allowed to do that. That was that. When a groom consecrates his bride, he declares, Are at mikudeshet li betaba'at zu, right? Behold, you are betrothed to me according to the laws of Moshe and Israel. He says, why does it say Moshe and Israel? Why is the bond between husband and wife likened to Moshe and Israel, rather than to the relationship of Abraham and Sarah, Yaakov and Leah, meaning why Moshe and Israel and not the patriarchs and the matriarchs? The reason is that relationship between Moshe and Israel faced many crises and setbacks. Yet despite all difficulties, it was never severed. He says, how many times did Moshe and Am Israel had a with the water, with the this, with the let us take us back to Egypt and this and that. How much? And yet they stayed together. Avram Sarah? No, they never argued. We never saw an argument in the Torah with Avram and Sarah. He said Moshe continued to lead the people, sacrificing himself for them and saving them numerous times. In turn, the Jewish people, witnessing his devotion, loved and respected him deeply. Near the end of his life, they sought to prevent his passing, declaring, a man who brought us out from Egypt, split the sea for us, brought down the man, brought down the quails, raised the well for us, and gave us the Torah. We will not allow him to die, they said, with so much devotion, even though they had arguments with him, correct? He says, they mourned him for many, many days after his departure. Similarly, within every home, the couple living there are not angels, but they're human beings. and disputes and differences may arise. Therefore, under the wedding canopy, the groom and the bride commit to maintaining their relationship like the unwavering bond between Moshe and Israel, withstanding all the trials and tribulations, always standing by each other, knowing how to restrain themselves, to yield, and to continue forward. He says, so when we make the bond under the chuppah, what do we say? No matter how much arguments we might have, no matter how much trying times we're going to have, we're going to stand by each other. How? Like Moshe and Israel. He says, at times, Shlom Bayit, domestic harmony, may conflict with other commandments, such as honoring the parents. He says, a wise person finds a way to ensure that all is satisfied, respecting their parents appropriately while preserving the peace at home. He says, in good situations, you can make peace between both. Yeah? Peace between parents and your wife, you give them proper time. He says, however, situation may arise where these obligations contradict each other to the point that only one can be upheld, either peace in the house or the commandment to honoring parents. The question then arises, which takes precedence? Yes. Which one is first? On this matter, there is a halakhic ruling from Rav Chaim Kanievsky, Zichron Tzaddik Levracha, as recounted by Rav Nachum Diamant. He says, I heard a surprising halakhic ruling in the name of Rav Chaim Kanievsky. He says that if there is even the slightest harm to marital peace, it overrides the commandment to honor one's parents. This surprised me. So I personally went to ask Rav Kanievsky whether this ruling applied only to a specific case, or was it a general principle? Yeah, he said, the author said, I didn't really, maybe he heard him, maybe he misheard Rav Kanievsky. So he went and asked him. He responded that it was a universal ruling. I asked again, explaining that, listen, I give sermons, meaning he says, listen, I give sermons and I give lectures, and I want to ensure the clarity. Was this true, the directive? He reiterated that it was not a situational ruling, but a general ruling across the board. Basically, he says, halachic ruling. You find it in Be'er Shel Torah. Yeah, where he says that Shalom Bayit is before with respect to the parents.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What's the reason we rely on our, contemporary
rabbis?
Yeah,
Okay.
Not
On?
like Rishonim.
Well, how do we? No, they didn't tackle it.
They didn't have
At that time, they didn't have this answer. Well, that's how it is. What do you mean, how is it? Many things are possible. Every year we have new things that are coming about.
Rav Kanievsky, he got this halacha from the Torah.
Absolutely. So he
but
made
the source is there.
Of course, yeah, the source is there.
So
All the halachic sources in the Torah, we have to derive them.
What's the
You understand?
He didn't mention
We have to derive them. How we derive them? So he derived that. It's more important. Okay, so that was that. Yesterday we left off. We said that what? A woman's nature is her most important thing is honor. So therefore, if we damage that honor, she's a broken vessel. Yeah. And what's the damage of the honor? It's when you give negative comments and when you negatively affect her situation of her trying to look at you as the most honorable person who she wants to honor, but yet you are dishonoring her. We're on page 38. Mm-hmm. Yeah? We said over here yesterday, the worst breach of a woman's self-respect comes from her husband's comments. Even if his criticism is gentle and delicate, she suffers. Even more so when the comment is
open.
Are cutting and brutal. A woman wants to be perfect in her husband's eyes. This is her honor, her happiness, and her security. Her husband's wicked remarks destroy her self-image and her security.
What kind of security?
Each morsel of criticism in his statements that she's not perfect, to her that means she is nothing. Right. Meaning the little bit is all he's saying is that it's considered zero. Because a wife that's subject to comments and criticism finds life unbearable. She cannot live life like this. The principle that comments are the opposite of honor is seated within religious law. One is not allowed to make remarks to one's parent or rabbi, for this is a breach of honor. How could I tell my rabbi, you made this wrong? Or my father, Dad, That's not the right way to do it.
He will count
Halakha-
you and
halakha
will
says-
say, "You the best."
Halakha says,
Right.
no. Halakha says you're not allowed to, right.
That's
Right.
what you say.
Even if you say, yeah, Rabbi, you're right. Who are you to tell me I'm right? You know? So we have to watch it. Why? Because we honor our parents, we honor our rabbis. Even if a son sees a father committing an outright transgression, he's not allowed to comment or criticize. Only hint, roundabout manner. Whether or not the father understands the hint is not the son's responsibility. Later, we'll learn alternative ways to influence a wife. Later, comments and criticisms are certainly not the way. A wife's honor is even more sensitive than a father's honor. Here, we just spoke about it. It has nothing to do. This book is different than, It says the wife's honor is more important than the father's honor. We're allowed to hint to a father, but we're not allowed to even hint any criticism to the wife. Yeah? He says, many husbands come to me with their marital issues, with a long list of complaints about their wives. I listen to them, but then I tell them that they don't have marital peace because they criticize their wives. I never had a case of a husband that admitted to make a mistake of comments and criticism, and then made a firm resolution to change, that didn't see dramatic improvements in his marriage. Meaning, when a man comes and says, you know what, Rabbi? You're right. I'm probably a very comment-oriented, critical person. And therefore he says, he changed, and he automatically had peace. He says he didn't find somebody that changed and didn't have peace. Yeah? Frequently, women complain about their husbands with a long list of grievances. Most of the time, the wife doesn't know how to put her finger on the real source of her anguish. Her husband's comments and criticism, meaning, he says, when a shalom bayit problem comes, so to the woman, so explain to me, what's the problem? She doesn't even understand that it's the minor things that he said to her, this is like that, this is like this is not like that, why is this like this, that. She does not understand, she cannot, pinpoint that, and that's even worse of a problem. Here, it says, husbands complain that their wives make mountains out of molehills. Yeah, something small, she makes a big deal out of it. They tell me that their wives are always complaining about apparently minuscule problems. The truth is that when she's broken and sad from her husband's constant comments and criticisms, every tiny thing upsets her. When he criticizes her, she can't understand him or be considerate of him in any way. She becomes argumentative, hostile, displeased about everything he does. So a lot of times people tell me, listen, I'm already tired of this fighting back and forth. I want to make peace. What they don't understand is, if you do not stop the criticisms and the negative comments, there's no way to get peace. Because you know how she's looking at you? As the worst person in the world. Meaning, it's a subconscious thing. On the conscious level, they want to do everything for you. They want to. Why? Because they're your wife. They want to be a wife. But on a subconscious level, all the attacks that you're giving them, attacks are very calm attacks, right? The laundry was not done right. This is dirty. Why the kids on the floor? Why is it sticky? Look at his shirt. Look at this. Why'd you park the car there? Why is the scratch here? So all these are, in her mind, are this individual hates me. You hear? So consciously she wants to do for her husband. Subconsciously she cannot understand him. It's a very, very tough role. He says, I can't sufficiently emphasize the importance of this foundational principle in building a marriage. Never comment or criticize. Criticism is so devastating to a wife that it can actually lead to physical illness or health complications. You hear what I'm saying? Physical illness or health complications.
Both.
He's more saying to the wife. He's talking about the wife.
He is talking about the wife, but both of them can be sick.
No. Learn this. He's saying that if you criticize, because at the end of the day, a man is strong when it comes to these kind of things. He's not going to affect this. He's going to listen. He's saying if you criticize your wife to such an extent where there are women who keep their mouth shut, you should know. There are women who take the criticism and they take it for years, and then when the kids leave, all that comes out. But meanwhile, he says they're going to become ill and physically ill. As long as the husband continues to criticize his wife, it's pointless to deal with other factors that affect the marital peace. The first foundation must be to correct before we deal any other issue in the marriage. Husband should therefore appeal to Hashem for help in refraining from commenting or criticizing his wife in any way. Meaning, a lot of men say, no, okay. I want to make peace. But why is she doing this? And why is she doing that? And why is she spending money over here? And why is she like that? Because he says, you cannot tackle any of the other issues until you come first to this conclusion that what? No more criticisms, no more negative comments. Here, he says, husbands are amazed to see the striking difference in their relationship when their wives, as soon as they begin working on this point, here, and some of us have experienced that, as soon as you start working on this point, what happens?
Improve.
It's a mamish improvement, yeah? He says, now we'll explain on a deeper level why refraining from comments and criticisms in the home is very important. Yeah, so he says, the minute a person takes upon himself that I want to change, Hashem helps him, yeah? And he helps the other side, the woman, try to recalculate her, not 380, it's 180. Because 380, she's back to where she was.
Refrain.
Yeah? He says, now, let's stop and contemplate Hashem's exact tailor-made divine providence for a moment. Since everything is under Hashem's control and designed to facilitate a person's individual soul correction and the correction of the world in general, then there must be a rationale behind why Hashem has instilled zero tolerance of her husband's comments and criticism in a wife. Why is this so? What's the lesson that we need to learn from this? And why can't her soul tolerate criticism? Now he invites. Now he tells us that let's get down and understand what are we doing in this world. Number one, he says, first of all, never forget that there's Hashem in this world. Yeah? And everything that we're doing and everything that's happening to us is from where? Only from Hashem. Talking to some of the people that I've been talking to the past several months, Bichlal, in their mind, Hashem doesn't exist. Why? He says, no. Hashem created all the 8.1 or 8.2 billion people and everything around that Hashem created, but this woman who's my wife has nothing to do with Hashem's creation. He's like, really? Yeah. She has her mind of her own. All of her actions are the actions that only she's contemplating of doing, and therefore I don't know how to deal with her. So I said to him, really? That's how it is. So she's Hashem now. So he wants to introduce to you that what? First of all, everything that's happening is happening because Hashem created it. And you have her in front of you. Why? Because Hashem put you together. And she's going to be, reflecting you. Why? Because Hashem wants it like that. So if we're going to invite Hashem into our lives, it's going to automatically lighten our situation of how we look at our spouses.
This is the system how Hashem
Oh, very good. So he says, my esteemed teacher, Rabbi Eliezer Berlan, Shlita, provides the answer. As a young man, I asked him to teach me the foundation of marital peace. He taught me the following two principles. He says, first, the wife is a mirror of the husband. This principle comes from the Holy Arizal. Any deficiency he sees in her is actually his own deficiency. You hear? He says from Kabbalah. Our teacher, the Arizal, he says, taught us that any insufficiency I see in her, it means it's me.
What means any?
Any.
Hakol.
Hakol, of course, yeah. Any and all, yeah. He says, second, never make any remarks, comments, or criticism about anything she does, even if she's done it a gross misdeed. So two concepts. Number one, she's a mirror. Number two, no comments. She's doing very bad. Tremendous bad. No comments. And we're going to explain on that. Rav Berlin told me that everything I see in my wife is a message for me. Frequently, a wife's unpleasant behavior is an indication of something askew, meaning something wrong, in the husband's service of Hashem, or of something else that needs correcting. On a more basic level, a wife's disrespect of her husband merely mirrors the husband's disrespect of his wife. If he places her on a pedestal, then she'll do likewise. We said this a couple times, there's no way that if I'm going to talk to a person next to me in a nice mannered way, how are you? Whether it's a man or woman, yeah, and then they spit at me. it's just
Illogical.
it's illogical. There's no way, unless the person is deranged, and we're not talking about deranged people, we're talking about normal people, yeah? So he says, whatever you're going to portray to your wife, that's exactly what's going to be portrayed to you. So if you're going to put her on a pedestal, guess what? She's putting you on a pedestal. If you're going to put her under the toilet, guess what? She's going to put you under the toilet. Yeah? So it's no difference.
What a man has to learn if his wife made an accident,
Yeah.
big accident, car accident.
No
What-
problem.
What he should learn.
We're going to answer that.
When?
We're going to answer that. Says, the above two principles are interdependent. Since any deficiency that a husband sees in his wife is really his own shortcoming, then he certainly shouldn't try to correct her, especially by reprimanding her or criticizing her. Instead, he should evaluate himself and correct what needs correcting. When he does that, she'll automatically change for the better.
Can you try to answer him?
We're going to answer him. We're going to answer him.
Answer him.
Okay.
It's simple.
About the accident, Rabbi, answer him.
He was the mailman of Akadosh Baruch Hu.
Exactly.
Okay. And
Hashem said, you drive now. Okay? And Hashem made them not to see who is coming next. The car got hit. And now when coming home, the husband starts to get upset. What did you do? You don't know how to drive. Like he's talking to the man and say, why did you bring me this bill for? Why did you bring me Con Edison bill? It's not me, it's Con Edison.
now I understand.
And that's with everything.
That was my mistake because I was driving crazy. And this
I remember.
yeah, and this allowed her to drive crazy also because she said it's okay to drive crazy.
Well, you had a situation like that? Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, good. So that's two principles, right? Two principles. Principle number one, mirror. Principle number two, don't say anything. Why? Because if she's a mirror, guess what? I'm the problem. So therefore, if I fix myself, the mirror is going to be automatically fixed. Correct? Rav Berlin emphasizes that these two principles, knowing that a wife is her husband's mirror and refraining from comments and criticisms no matter what, saved his own marriage, meaning the rabbi's marriage, Rav Berlin's marriage. With ignorance of these two principles, a husband can't possibly avoid criticizing his wife, particularly when he feels like he's doing her a service by correcting her actions. Since the wife can't stand criticism, they lose their marital peace. You hear what he's saying? He's saying like this. Now, he doesn't understand this concept. So when he sees something wrong, what does he do? He's just exactly just like right now. Everybody says, well, it's her fault. No, let her. Maybe 30 years they're fighting. Let her change. How? If she's your mirror image, she cannot change. You change, she'll change, but she cannot change. Here, it's like you're sitting in the mirror. The mirror is
In front of you.
in front of her, right? So now you hear it's like this, and you're like, hello, change it, change it. And what's the mirror gonna do?
You're doing like this, you're doing like this.
Yeah. So all you gotta do is change himself nicely, and all of a sudden, oh wow, wow, look at that. That's now we're good.
Change the mirror.
That's exactly. Divorce is changing a mirror because he's gonna get divorced over here, and he's gonna bring another mirror in front of us. Now instead of like this, it's looking like this. Yes, like I don't understand what's going on. This one is also no good. Here,
Yesterday I told you, when you're looking for a wife, basically you say, please, be my mirror.
yeah,
Please.
yeah, absolutely.
Just be my mirror.
She's gonna be a mirror without you asking. She's gonna be a mirror.
It's a pattern. I'll tell you the story now. The case is
Yeah. So he says, one who is equipped with the knowledge of these two principles will never comment on or criticize his wife's actions, even the biggest mistake she might make, knowing that she is his mirror. He searches to correct within himself the flaws he sees within her. You hear what he says? He says, once a person knows this knowledge, that I know, okay, she's doing something wrong, means Hashem is showing me that I need to improve in whatever, in whatever she's doing wrong. And therefore, I don't need to, I cannot reprove her. Why? She's my mirror. So therefore, I need to know what I can fix. Once I fix this, automatically no problem.
Yesterday my brother said
Yeah.
the personality of a person always on the woman's side.
Absolutely.
It's not true.
No, not true at all.
It's the mirror.
Exactly, exactly. Yes, we're not on the woman's side. No, we're using her as a gauge of where I have to be in this situation.
Yesterday I had a couple. He's religious, she is kacha, and he is very upset at her parents.
Oh.
He told them, don't bring your parents into the house. I want
Parents?
Okay.
her parents. Which I know them. Their parents are very, very nice people, important people. Mayesh, he was about to buy a house. And he was asking for everything, his family, from a loan.
Loan.
He said, I don't have it now. He said, but to take your mother to Eretz Yisrael at a vacation, this and that, this year. I don't want to see them in my house.
He asked his father-in-law for a loan?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And I'm sitting on the chair, my feet are moving. I want to give him a smack. What's a smack about? I told him, what does he owe you? What does he owe you? Klum. And with your kippah on your head, who told them not to give you the money? He was not the shaliach. Somebody else is. So why are you upset at the mailman?
The
For
ones that
example,
gave
I told him, you're looking for Abraham, okay? And so I'm asking him, I said, excuse me, your name is Abraham? He said, no, my name is Rachamim. Why don't they call you Abraham? That's normal. That's how, when you learn, everything becomes
clear.
simple, clear. He said, no, in the Shamayim, he is not the Shaliach. The Shaliach might be there, might be here, but him out. And don't be upset with him. So I told him, you over Midoraita. I said, Madaraita? Yeah. So he said to me, please, you have to forgive me. Please. I told him, man. But he was a man.
Oh, okay. Сразу признал.
Chichak said, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. He said, please forgive me.
From his wife.
Yeah, from his wife.
Welcome.
Next to me.
Welcome.
So he said, now you can invite your parents anytime. I'll be nice. I told him, you chamor, what are you doing? Same way I told him, if you're coming home and your wife, a B'Av, in the Shamayim they told her, that's the treatment in English today. Make a face for a thing that you can go crazy. She's a mishugat. Why are you so upset?
He describes it like Hashem put a cassette into a tape recorder.
Exactly.
Exactly this cassette.
Zero.
For her to be.
Zero.
And then when he wants, he will take this cassette out, he puts a different cassette to play. When she's smiling. That's what Hashem.
It's so funny. You know, my job, I can sit there in my room from the morning and you see people coming in and out, in and out, in and out.
By changing you.
О,
Years ago,
можем хотели поменять, а хотя бы поменять.
my wife,
Получается, так получается, что?
listen, listen. Since I